asks the hardest questions. He asks good questions. That's the problem. If he asks good questions, they're always hard. But you know, alphabetical order.
Yeah, so you mentioned you talked about your immigration platform. Would it expand into costing? Would it include cases for like asylum or humanitarian relief, or what would that look like?
Yeah, you know, everybody likes to say that's a good question, and I hate to say that because what I want to say is that's a horrible question. We're next, but actually that is a good question, and I have the answer. They should be provided, but not by the government. They should be provided by private individuals who care about other private individuals. If we care as a people, if we really care about asylum seekers from, let's just say, Afghanistan, to pick a war, we should be willing to do a fundraiser, a crowd what do they call it? A GoFundMe, and raise the money and win the auction and let the refugees in. And we'll be able to bid against those morons that just want to come in for economic reasons. And yes, we will have asylum seekers will present their case to the public and they'll get the money. If they are sort of shaky, you know, it's like, there's a lot of that. They're probably not going to raise the money and they're not going to win the auction. But in a real auction, the people that really care are going to be able to raise the money and they're going to win. That a good enough question to answer? Yeah.
National security-wise, how do you vet these people that win the auction to make sure there's no concerns with terrorist activity or anything like that?
Well, we already have a vetting process. We already issued 1.34 million green cards this year. So I don't think that it's the vetting for green card process that is the problem. You know, obviously, if you're going to let 1.34 million people in, a couple of them are going to be bumpers. Duh, it's the law of statistics. Sometimes there's bad people, and the more people you have, the more people, bad people are going to have. But the percentage of bad people that you get is tiny. We already know that legal immigrants commit fewer crimes than Americans. We should let everybody in because that would lower our crime rate. Okay, but I'm not worried. Yeah, we'll let in a couple of cases. The media, excuse me, I'm going to insult all of you. The media will always pick up on the abnormalities. You know, oh look, somebody did something bad one time. It's horrible. Blah blah blah. That's just a data point. It's an anecdote. It's not the real data. I believe in real data. You know, tell me the crime rate for the last 1.34 million green cards that we issued. And we do that. I don't have to do that. It's done. They're more honest than we are. Let them in. I want them all to come in. Lower our crime rate.
When you're door knocking in that community, are you usually able to get people to hear you out, or do you have a lot of that looser gentlemen who hear the label of your idea and they're done with it?
Well, it depends on how much time they have, and it also depends on how much time I have. So when I'm door knocking, I'm unfortunately one of those guys that doesn't knock on very many doors because I talk too long. I will talk, everybody here knows this, I will talk as long as you want. And you run into people who have an intelligent conversation that gets them all together. But for the most part, people that hear my ideas, they shake their heads and they go, oh yeah, okay. They don't present arguments against them because there are no solid arguments. Can I make an argument? I can make an argument against anything. Can I make a good argument against everything? No. There are things that we sort of will agree are fact. I just used 1.34 green cards million. You know, as long as we hold at that level, people, to be perfectly honest, they're like, well, I sure hope you win, which is very unrealistic. But yeah, you know, they're pretty good. Most people, you know, they don't want to talk. I'd rather sign and go, thank you very much.
Can you clarify when you talk about eliminating all welfare, and you're including in that farm subsidies?
Yes.
So I'm assuming things like tax credits.
Yes.
For whatever, renewable fuels or any other kind of
absolutely.
health insurance tax credits.
No, every tax credit. But I'm going to eliminate the income tax, which automatically eliminates every single tax credit. Okay. There's a zillion tax credits that are in the tax code, but they'll be gone when I eliminate the income tax. But let's say that I don't get that part done. All I have is the UBI, right? We're going to go through and eliminate every tax credit just to have a good UBI. And we could keep the rest of this tax structure if people decide, I'm sorry, I'm laughing, but if people decided they liked an income tax better than a land tax, remember it's dollar for dollar. I'm not raising or lowering taxes. Then we just let them. We eliminate the credits, but we'd still have an income tax.
So people who don't own land,
Yeah.
they would not have to pay anything?
Well, not to the government. They'd have to
Okay.
pay their landlord.
Okay. And
Their
then
landlord would have to pay the government.
and the retired people, because you're talking about funding this through the payroll taxes, the
Yeah.
UBI part of it.
Yeah.
You're talking
Payroll
about funding it through the payroll taxes, but how does that solve the problem of the people on Social Security and Medicare getting a benefit that's working people are funding?
Well, you know what? You don't have to be an older person not to work. You can be an 18-year-old and decide, I'm happy with $12,000 a year and I'm not going to work. That's okay. I don't mind. Because it's $12,000 a year. It's pennies. There's people that can live on $12,000. And if you think about a family of 4, as long as both children are older than 18, you got 48 grand a year and it's tax-free. Why not? Let's just do it. That sounds horrible. Well, you should go to work. You should have to go to work. I don't care. Live your life. Because what we're trying to do is a universal solution that works literally for everyone. And the number of free riders is what you'd call that, right? An old person that doesn't work is just a free rider, right? Let's be honest. It's okay to have free riders. This country is so rich. We are not going to run out of money because we have free riders. We're going to run out of money because we have a tax and spend system that taxes way too much, spends way too much, it causes us to borrow too much money, causes interest rates to go up, causes we have regulatory. The government has made everything more expensive. If we straighten stuff out, it'll be a country where even the people at the bottom are earning a lot more money, and even the people that are just free riders. You're just taking my 12, not going to go to work. It's okay. What's wrong with that? You might want to do that when you're, I don't know, 40 years older. It's okay. Because most people are not going to say, that's enough for me. 12 grand, hey, sayonara, I'm out of here. No, most people are going to go, I'd like to buy a car, I'd like to buy a house, I'd like to go out to dinner, I'd like to buy a ticket to the World Cup, there's lots of stuff we like to spend money on. I love to spend money. And I love to work, and most Americans love to spend money, and most Americans love to work. So let them work.
Are you also proposing to eliminate the property tax?
No, there's two things, okay? When you get a property tax bill today, where do you live?
I live in Polk County.
In where?
Polk County.
Okay, you live in Polk County. You get you pay taxes to Polk County or Des Moines or whatever. You get one property tax bill, right? Is it from the county or the city?
It's from the county. I just moved from here from Missouri. Property taxes
Okay,
are
I want
different
everybody
there,
here to know that this young lady doesn't know everything there is to know about the state of Iowa, and she's already been here for a week. You get a bill, it's one piece of paper. It has land value and buildings value. There's only two things on it, okay? And then they add those together and they have a property tax, which is just a number. And that's it. They multiply the number by the total, and that's how much you owe. So the counties, they can do anything they want. The cities, they can do anything they want. This is just at the national level.
So under your system, people would pay their property taxes to the county in addition to the land tax you're proposing.
The land tax that I'm proposing is on top of any other city or state tax. It eliminates the income tax, but dollar for dollar, it raises exactly the same amount of money through just land, not property, but the land tax. So basically it's per acre. But it's not like every acre pays the same tax, because every acre of land is not worth the same amount of money.
And then in your second district, for voters who don't want to vote Democrat or for the Republican candidate, there's also
Are there any of those?
Then there's also Dave Bouchard, who's running as an independent.
He's a great guy.
What do you think distinguishes him from you?
45 years of experience. He's a great guy. I think he's 29. If you think that a guy that's 29 has as much worldly experience as I do and that has probably figured out the world better than I have and that has better proposals, you should vote for him. The one thing you should not do is you should not vote for a Republican or a Democrat. I have a simple question for all of you. What is that? This requires audience participation. What is that?
It's 2 fingers.
What is that?
Same thing.
This is the people that won the election, and this is the people that lost the election. It's the same damn thing. You cannot change this country if you vote for this. You can only change this country if we break the back of the two-party duopoly. It's 250 years to make it. It's not going to disappear overnight. But you have to do that, or you will always have the situation that we are in now. And we already know that 83% of Americans disapprove of Congress. We do that. The ranked choice voting people do that poll in the whatever the building that is. Just go look and see what do people think about politics. They think it sucks. That's ridiculous. We're a republic. We're the first big democracy in the history of the world, because I don't count Athens. We are fabulous. We have 250 years of winning. But because, just like George Washington warned us against, and every political science teacher in PS 101 will tell you, that's like, I think, the fourth lesson. The system that we have creates two parties that's just what it does, right? If you have you vote for one person and they win or lose, then you're going to have a two-party system. It's taken us a long time. So we did have a three-party race when Teddy Roosevelt jumped in, right? What did he do? He threw the whole thing to a Democrat. We had a two-party race when what was the three-party race when Anderson was in, right?
Ross Perot.
We had three parties with Ross Perot twice, but we haven't broken the back of the system. Although George Bush, #1, will tell you that the reason he lost is because the Commission on Presidential Debates allowed Ross Perot into the debate. Now, you can't say for sure that's right or wrong. The next time around, 4 years later, the Commission on Presidential Debates decided that Ross Perot couldn't be in the debate, in spite of the fact that his popularity in the general population was higher the second time around. So the two-party system is absolutely and totally corrupt, and they know it, and they know how to run the system. The first time I got into politics was because of the Commission on Presidential Debates in 2012, and I very modestly say that the only person in the world that knows more about the Commission on Presidential Debates is the executive director, and the Republican guy who's the top dog, and the Democrat guy who's top dog. They know more than I do, but I know everything about that. Every day that Janice Brown wakes up, she's my age, she's like, I've only 1 degree of separation. Every day she wakes up, she prays that she won't hear from Rick Stewart today, because I know how it really works. And I'll just give you like a small sample of how it really works. They always have 10 sponsors, national sponsors of the presidential debates. Well, how much money do you think these national sponsors give them? It costs, for reference, about $4 million every 4 years to have a presidential debate. They spend $4 million every 4 years. It's probably 8 now, but numbers are relatively good. The 10 national sponsors of the presidential debates, 9 of them have never given a single nickel, and 1 of them gives $40,000 maximum. Now, if you get $40,000 from one place, and you have to run a $4 million campaign every 4 years, where'd the rest of the money come from? And the answer is, they're just lying. They're absolutely lying. Everything they do is a very extremely well calculated lie. I can prove it. I can prove it in black and white. One of the Washington newspapers got the story before the 2012 first debate, did a great job of writing it up. But if you want to sit down and look at a spreadsheet, it's very simple to prove that they don't get their money from their national sponsors. They just pretend they do. The Commission on Presidential Debates is arguably the most undemocratic thing that's ever happened to this country. It's just insane. It's just completely, guess who owns the Commission on Presidential Debates? Just one wild guess. Parties. 2 parties. Lock, stock, and barrel. So, and that's how I got started. When I figured out how dumb they were, I'm like, this politics is easy. These people aren't very smart. They're smarter than I thought they were.
The Republicans didn't appeal that decision in your favor.
Do you know that for a fact?
No, I was asking you.
I don't know.
You haven't heard whether they.
I have not heard.
Okay.
Yeah. But that, I'm so lack about reading my email that it could have happened. I don't think they appealed.
I don't think they. But you don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you find out, let me know.
Okay.
You know, I'm not one of those guys that goes and watches like videos of me on CNN or stuff like that. You know, it's like I say what I just say what I have to say. You know, I'm not into this. I don't care about newspaper hits. Like I love you guys, but I'm not. I don't get my thrills from what somebody wrote about me or what somebody said about me. You know, I was having an argument with the guy, and I'm like, he was talking about hate speech. Oh, hate speech, hate speech. It's bad, right? You can't do it. I'm like, you know, I don't think I can be insulted. Why would I care what anybody says? Because if they're not as smart as me, I don't care what they say. And if they are smarter than me, and they say something that insults me, I'm not insulted. I want to find out. I want to get smart. I don't want to be the dummy in the room that got insulted. I want to know. Because people do occasionally tell me I'm wrong. And then we have a good conversation. Sometimes I walk away and I go, oh, I was wrong. I'm not interested in being wrong on anything. I just want to be right on everything, and I want to have fun talking about it. And I want to win. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.